I've been craving a sloppy Joe, so here's how I make mine. These are super simple. All you need is some ground beef. I have 80/20 here. You can get any type you like. I'm also going to use some nice brioche buns. I think they hold the meat the best. We got some vegetables. We got some tomato sauce and ketchup also. But first, we're going to start up by dicing an onion. You could do any sort of vegetable in this you want. You can also just do it straight up meat. That's totally fine. But we're going to do a small dice on one onion. This is actually a Spanish onion, but you could use a white or a sweet onion, whatever you prefer. And then we're going to also use same dice on a green bell pepper. You could add it in red there too if you want to differentiate the colors a little bit, but these will just give it a little bit of a bite. We are going to cook these very down though, so they're not going to be super, bite-like. They're not going to give a ton of texture in this dish. They're kind of there to add a slight bit of texture and a little bit of flavor, but they're not going to be super hard. We're going to throw this all into a skillet. This is going to come together in under 10 minutes, so this is a fast, easy lunch. That's probably why schools do them. But throw those pepper and onion pieces into your skillet, and you're going to cook this for about 5 minutes. You can cook it at fairly high heat. Once you see the onions start to get a little bit brown, though, that's when we're going to add that meat in. I'm going to put in half of the meat. We're making this is about a 2-person portion, so I'm going to add in half a pound of meat here. And you could just, if you're making bigger amounts, just double this. I'm not huge on specific amounts, so feel this out as you're cooking it, taste it, learn what you're looking for, and go from there. But once you see that meat start to get a little bit of color, start to incorporate the peppers, the onions. This is really similar to the start of a bolognese too. So you could watch that video also, and you're already basically 30% of the way there. That one just takes a lot longer. But once you have that incorporated, we're going to let that cook for a little bit. Once that oil starts to come out, the fat starts to come out, we're going to add in a little bit of flour, which will help make this sauce nice and thick later on. But just cook that down now for about a minute or two. And once you do that, we're going to add in all of the tomato sauces. We're going to start with some tomato paste. Add in a good amount. This is probably a good tablespoon worth. Mix that throughout. You want it evenly coating most of the meat at this stage. Once you do that, though, we're going to add in the rest, which is going to be just about a quarter of, not a quarter, we're going to use half of the 8-ounce can we bought. If you're making a full pound of meat here, you can use the full 8-ounce can. But we're going to use 4 ounces of this can of tomato sauce. You don't need to use expensive tomato sauce here. Use the cheap stuff. This is supposed to be a messy kid-like meal. And then we're going to add in about a tablespoon worth of ketchup. That just gives it a little bit of sweetness, a little bit of that sugar. It'll also kind of give it that caramelized flavor as that cooks a bit. This was looking a little bit not saucy enough to me, so I added in just another drop of that tomato sauce, but you can kind of get it where you want it. If you wanted this way messier, add in more. Season it now, salt, pepper. I'm going to add in a little bit of garlic powder as well. You can just use regular garlic in here if you want, but I don't like the pieces of garlic in this dish. That doesn't really, in my mind, work. I'm trying to make this as traditional as possible for like a school lunchroom. And then a little bit of brown sugar. That'll give it a little bit extra of that sweetness, a little bit of that caramelized flavor as it heats and cooks on the bottom of this pan. And that's it. Turn that heat off. You're done. Take your brioche buns, get them a little bit toasted. I burnt one corner of this. Don't do that though. But the toasting will help the sloppy Joe not just soak through that bread completely. It's still going to do it. This is sloppy. You're not going to be able to pick this up and eat this very well. But just load it all up there, throw that bun on, and that's it. You got this really nice, basically bolognese sauce on a bun. And then just, most important thing is taste it. Picking it up, you're just going to make an absolute mess, so make sure you're doing it on something you could clean very easily. But there you go. Tweak this however you want, but let me know what you guys think. This is a super easy sloppy Joe.